Echoes of the General, The Digital Ambush Part 1. The virtual retreat rain over the Ridge of Broken Teeth didn't just fall. It pounded against the Kevlar-reinforced plating of Outpost Delta like shrapnel. Inside the command bunker, Captain Miller wiped a smear of mud and sweat from his brow, his eyes glued to the flickering tactical map. Outnumbered 3-1, his infantry unit, the 7th Marauders, had been holding the line for 72 hours. Their ammunition was bleeding out, and the perimeter sensors were screaming, "Captain!" Incoming priority flashcast from Sector Command. Yelled Corporal Vance, the unit's comms specialist, his hands flying across a keyboard slick with condensation. It's a direct video feed, high definition. General Vance himself. Miller lunged toward the main terminal. The screen pulsed, clearing to reveal the rugged, scarred visage of General Arthur Vance. The 3-star general looked as imposing as ever, his crisp uniform untouched by the chaos of the front line. His steel gray eyes boring through the lens, Captain Miller, the general's voice boomed, rich with its trademarked gravelly Texas drawl. The perimeter is compromised. Intelligence indicates an imminent thermobaric strike on your position. You are ordered to execute an immediate tactical withdrawal. Pull your men back through the Iron Grip Canyon. Do you copy? Miller blinked. The canyon? Sir, with respect, Iron Grip Canyon is a geographic bottleneck. If the enemy secures the high ridges, that is a direct order. Captain, the general snapped, his jaw tightening. We have drone coverage securing the ridges. If you remain at Outpost Delta, you will be obliterated in 20 minutes. Disobey, and I will personally see you court-martialed before the ash settles. Move your men now. The feed cut to black. The bunker fell dead silent, save for the rhythmic drum of the tactical display. To disobey a direct video order from the theater commander during active combat meant a treason charge, a ruined life, and a firing squad. But to obey meant marching 140 exhausted soldiers into a narrow, rock-walled throat. Pack it up. Miller roared, the instinct of a 15-year veteran taking over. Load the wounded into the APCs. We move in 5. Part 2. The glitch in the ghost. While the bunker erupted into a frenzy of packing and weapon clearing, Corporal Vance remained frozen at his terminal. Something was scratching at the back of his brain. He had listened to General Vance's briefings for 3 years. He knew the man's cadence, his temper, his tics. "Captain, wait," Vance called out, his voice sharp enough to cut through the noise. "Hold the order." Miller spun around, his face dark. "We don't have time for cold feet, Corporal. We have 15 minutes before we're turned to vapor. Look at the data stream." "Sir," Vance insisted, his fingers dancing across the console, pulling up the recorded video file and running it through a localized diagnostic suite. The encryption signature matches command. The neural handshake passed our firewalls. But look at the pixels on the general's collar. Miller leaned over Vance's shoulder, staring at the frozen image of the general. Vance zoomed in for 100%. Diagnostic log. Stream 09 beta visual feed. 4K. Synthesis over 60 FPS AUDIO matrix 24-bit. Spatial replicated subsurface scattering 98.4%. "Match it looks perfect," Miller said. "Too perfect," Vance whispered. He toggled a specialized forensic filter and anti-spoofing algorithm designed to detect generative AI anomalies. Look at the lighting on his irises. The ambient light in the general's bunker is fluorescent, but the reflection in his pupils shows a natural sunlight arc. And look here when he pronounces the word court-martialed. There is a 3-millisecond desynchronization between the micro-movements of his buccinator muscle and the audio track. Miller's blood ran cold. An AI generative synthesis. A real-time deepfake. It's a hyper-realistic spoof, Vance said, his face paling under the green glow of the monitor. They used our own network protocols against us, probably utilizing a stolen command cipher to bypass the firewall. The audio synthesis is flawless, but the generative engine failed to accurately render the wetness gradient of the sclera during high-frequency blinking. Captain... General Vance didn't give that order. The enemy did. Miller stared at the map. Iron Grip Canyon wasn't a retreat route. It was a kill zone. The enemy wanted them out of their fortified bunker and packed tightly between two stone walls, where a single machine gun nest could butcher them all. Part 3. The race to reality if we stay. We risk getting hit by the thermobaric strike if the deepfake was telling the truth about that part, Miller muttered, his mind racing. If we go to the canyon, we die in an ambush. We need confirmation from the real command. Now, the enemy is jamming standard subspace frequencies, sir, Vance said, ripping open a panel beneath the console. The deepfake injected itself through a narrow band burst. To get through to the actual sector command, I need to patch into the old world copper wire relay on the roof. I have to manually bypass the digital layer entirely. Do it. I'll buy you time, Miller ordered. Miller stepped out into the rain, facing his platoon leaders. They were ready to march, faces grim, heavy packs strapped to their backs. Belay that last order, Miller shouted over the thunder. Defensive positions. Resecure the perimeter. Captain. Lieutenant Torres stepped forward, bewildered. The general's order was explicit. If we stay, we face a court-martial. Sir, they'll lock you away forever. That wasn't the general, Torres. It was a ghost in the machine, Miller said. We hold. On the roof of the bunker, Vance fought the freezing rain. His tools slipped in his numb fingers as he hacked into the ancient analog junction box. Below him, the woods began to rustle. The enemy was advancing. Expecting the Marauders to flee into the canyon, Vance hooked his tactical data pad directly into the raw copper wire. He initiated an old-school, unencrypted Morse-Sherpa system too archaic for the enemy's advanced AI algorithms to intercept or mimic under siege. Direct video compromised. Verify retreat order. For 2 agonizing minutes, the only sound was the rain and the approaching thump of enemy mortar. Then, the datapad buzzed. A text-only string bled onto the screen across a secure, low-frequency military band. Command actual to Delta 7. Nitrogen monoxide retreat order issued, repeating. Do not abandon Delta. Hold your position. Air support en route. Vance disconnected the line and slid down the ladder into the bunker. Tumbling through the hatch. It's confirmed, Captain. Command says hold. Air support is 5 minutes out. Miller gripped his rifle, a fierce, grim smile breaking across his face. He patched into the squad radios. Listen up, Marauders. The enemy tried to paint a pretty picture to scare us into a trap. They wanted us in the canyon, but we're staying right here in their throats. Get on the guns. 10 minutes later, the enemy infantry surged out of the tree line, expecting a ghost town. Instead, they walked into a wall of coordinated, dug-in Marauder fire. As the roar of friendly close air support jets began to scream overhead, tearing the enemy vanguard to pieces, Miller looked back at the blank command screen. The war hadn't just changed on the battlefield. It had changed in the ether. Trust was the first casualty. But human grit had just won the day.